we got here is a 21 Corvette that just came in. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna tint it all the way around. 2 front windows, the rear window. We're gonna go with our ceramic film, which is our highest quality film, helps block UV light, and then also added heat rejection helps keep your car cooler during the summer. What I wanted to show you guys here is a lot of times. What a lot of shops, and sometimes, I mean, not a lot of shops, but most shops know what they're doing. A reputable shop knows what they're doing. Sometimes, you know, some people want to call around, and I know we've gotten phone calls where people say, oh, you know, they can't do my car because they said that the window rolls down a little bit and they can't get it to roll up, so they won't be able to tuck the film down in there. If you guys look right here, when I close the door, that little tiny bit of window rolls up, which makes it, whenever you roll down the window, it hides maybe about a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch. Again, a lot of reputable shops know what they're doing and they'll be able to get it down there. But then also, whenever you go with a, you know, call around Facebook or something like that and you're looking for the best value, sometimes these guys don't have the experience and have a little bit of a trouble getting the film in there, because we've had people come in and they'll literally have the window tinted all the way to here, and then once they close their door, they'll have a big gap down at the bottom because they're told that they couldn't get it down in there. So on these, because of the experience and what we're doing, all we have to do is we have to trick our window, so then that way the window does not roll down, or so we can get down to the bottom. So all we have to do is we have to engage the lock, and now our window is all the way up. So I'll go ahead and I'll open it. We engage it. That's open, and then now we engage it, and now that's up. So now all we have to do is just make sure that we don't close the door. It won't be damaged or anything like that. Well, we've never closed it. We don't plan on closing it, so we don't want to know what's going to happen. But now, and usually with all the cars that we work on, sometimes we have Teslas that come in here, and we'll have customers who will message us, because I know on a Tesla you can go on your app remotely, and you can see when your doors are open or where your car moves and things like that, or where your car is moved or the car started, and they'll call us and they say, hey, I saw on my app that my doors are open. And what we try to do is, usually once we bring the car in, the doors are open all the time, just for the sake of making it easier for us to work on and things like that. Obviously, as you guys can see, we'll cover all the door panels. Everything is, you know, covered, making sure we take care of everything. I mean, these, you know, people spend good money on these cars, and we treat them as such. Obviously, this one's got a nice sound system, and then on this one, we're going to go ahead and trick the door again. All we have to do is we have to engage that. Now we're good to go. Now this one's ready to start getting prepped. We'll start getting our film cut, and yeah, we'll go from there. So on these new Corvettes, the new C8s, they're usually a little bit more challenging, especially if you're a first-time tinter, because they do have quite a significant curve compared to all the rest of the cars. So usually what we got to do here is just like every other one, you tack your longer end first, which is basically your back edge. Make sure you tack that one, and then we walk all these fingers all the way around. Also, just how we do with all the rest of them, all the rest of our vehicles. But what you'll notice is over time, well, not over time, but what you'll notice is once we start walking this film all the way down to the bottom, we start getting these large fingers down here. So yeah, so basically once we tack down our film, you'll notice that on these windows we get a lot larger fingers down at the bottom. And what I like to do here, at least, is I always like to shrink my film all together. Obviously this, you're gonna have to concentrate on the fingers also as well. But I always start a little bit higher up, because I like to shrink the film all together, as opposed to focusing a lot on just specific fingers. As you can see, these huge fingers, these are what are called fingers. So once we start walking it down, you'll see these fingers start to react. And sometimes, once these fingers get super fat and stuff like that, they can be a little bit scary. But I like to basically jump around. I have this idea that if we shrink each one of them a little bit, little by little, it's easier for me at least than trying to shrink one huge finger all the way down. I feel that I get an issue whenever I get like a huge finger. If I try to shrink it all the way down all at once, it might it ends up what do you call it? Shriveling up on me. So now that we basically walked all those fingers all the way down to the bottom, now we're down all the way down to the bottom here. We're able to shrink those down. I'll pull the film again and we'll double shrink it. This is what we call double shrink. So we'll pull it. To create some more fingers again, so then that way it'll fit nice and snug. Once we go to install it, you don't have many issues with fingers popping up once you install it. So we snap, shrink it, double shrink it, whatever. People call it many different things. But once you shrink it all the way down to the bottom, you're pretty much ready to go. So now that bad boy is good to go. As you can see, all these big fingers, actually, even the ones that we had back here when we initially started tacking it down, we had a little bit of fingers, but once we went ahead and then we shrunk the whole bottom of it, it helps pull that film that way, and it shrinks down at the bottom, so now you have a nice tight fitting film. Now I pull it off, pull it on our peel board, so we can get ready and ready to prep the inside of those windows for installation. What we do here is we use a computer cut program, which basically has all the patterns in our computer. Which this allows us to do is basically it speeds up the process a little bit as far as cutting the film for your car. Also, the other thing that it helps do is it helps protect your car from us putting any blades on your windows or anything like that. There's completely nothing wrong with hand cutting. That's how most of us learn, is hand cutting. The technique, obviously, over time gets perfected, and you know what you're doing, and you know how much pressure to put on it. I mean, we hand cut for a long time before we moved on to a plotter. So as long as you get somebody that knows what they're doing, your car will be fine. But we moved away from that just to be able to, like I said, make the process a little bit faster. And this allows us to have the pattern cut before it's even on your car. So it will prevent us from putting any blades on your car, from any possible scratches or anything like that.